Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sara and I have a toddler boy named Suleiman. I'm expecting baby number 2 in February. I'm currently 30 weeks pregnant and I'm going to be sharing with you guys today my 30-week pregnancy update or my pregnancy bump date. I do these weekly, so if you're interested in seeing more like this, please be sure that you subscribe and like these videos to let me know that you'd like to see more of them. Usually I start my pregnancy updates by talking about the baby's development. So this week at 30 weeks pregnant, the baby is about 16 inches long and they're a little over 3 pounds. This varies from one baby to the next. At 30 weeks pregnant, the fat starts to accumulate under the baby's skin. As they start to gain more weight at this point, they tend to gain about half a pound generally from this week onwards. The lanugo hair starts to shed even more. So it's still possible that they would be born with lanugo hair if they're born late preterm or preterm. The lungs are generally the last organ to fully develop. However, they're currently practicing their breathing about 40 to 50% of the time in the womb from now on forward. At this week, bones are beginning to harden rapidly, so it's really important that you're taking your calcium and magnesium to support that bone density. Adrenal glands are also beginning to develop. They have actually doubled in size over the past 10 weeks. And adrenal glands, their main responsibility is for the growth and development of the biological sex organs. I was planning to do a what's in my hospital bag in this update, but I will be saving that for next week because this week I had a pregnancy scare. Basically what had happened was over the course of the weekend, I was really thirsty and I was just drinking water because anytime you're thirsty, I drink water. I knew that I don't have gestational diabetes because I called on the Friday and I checked for those results, which came back normal. And I just figured, oh, you know what? I'm probably lacking in my water. So I continued to drink water. And then on Monday, I woke up and I felt really weird. I felt heavy. I felt like I was carrying limp weight, like there was some kind of detachment between myself and my baby, and it was really unsettling. So that was the first sign that something was not right for me. I know I should have kind of had a flag with the whole water and just being that thirsty, but I figured, you know, I'm probably just not drinking enough. I was really worried and unsettled when I felt like that feeling of just limp weight. I got up, I drank even more water because I thought, maybe the baby just needs me to move or wake up, and maybe they're just sleeping right now because I did just wake up. And I took my son to toddler gym. At the toddler gym, I was basically glued to the water cooler. I kept trying to get more water because I was really getting more and more thirsty. And at this point, I hadn't really felt any movement. So I kept trying to count kicks in the morning. I tried to count kicks in the afternoon. I'm home and I felt a hiccup from the baby, so I was a little bit more at ease. I do have the fetal Doppler, so I did check for a heart and there was a heart rate there. So that put me at ease again. And I thought, okay, maybe he's behind the placenta because I have an anterior placenta, and that could be one of the reasons that I'm not feeling much movement. However, if you've seen my previous video, my counting kicks video, I haven't really had any issues feeling movement. I was still a little bit put off by that. I ended up drinking the soda, which is cold, and I lay down on my side because I wanted to see if maybe that would help me with counting kicks. And I didn't feel anything, like nothing, for 2 hours. So if you don't feel any kicks within 2 hours, that's when you're supposed to go to the hospital. I called up my husband and I told him to come home early, which was about an hour or two early from work, and just come watch our son so I could go to labor and delivery triage because we do live far away from family. And it's in moments like these where you really feel the distance. I went to labor and delivery triage by myself. And because I've had a late preterm baby before, they admitted me right away. They didn't make me wait in that area with the other ladies that were doing stress tests there. They took me straight into a room. And the nurse was very kind. She hooked me up to a machine right away. And I'll show you a clip of what happened. So I'm at the hospital right now because I haven't felt my baby move today. I drank some soda and nothing. Inshallah khair. He's there, but the heart rate is so quiet. And as you can see, the heart rate was really quiet, and I figure that's because of the placenta. It's in the way, of course, but it was just really kind of unsettling again because it wasn't strong like it was in the morning. So they kept trying to hear for movements. They kept asking if I felt movements, if I could hear movements. The nurse sat with me in the room. We couldn't hear anything. He wasn't moving. I'm gonna say this nurse was amazing. She was a big advocate for me and for my baby. She immediately thought, okay, you don't have gestational diabetes. Why don't we hook you up to an IV because you are so thirsty? And that seems a little bit off to me. So I'm gonna ask the doctor that's on call right now if we can just hook you up to IV until we get a hold of your doctor. The doctor said yes, and they hooked me up to IV. And then she also requested that I get an ultrasound, and the doctor agreed. So they sent in an OB resident to come and do an ultrasound for me. He was probably having an off day. He came in and he was like rolling his eyes and he didn't care to be there at all. So it was not a great thing for someone who's in a position where they're afraid for their baby. He, of course, doesn't let you see the screen when he's doing the ultrasound, and he just kept shaking my belly with the ultrasound. And after doing this 5 times, I just stopped him and I said, "What are you doing? Why are you shaking my belly? Is the baby there? Is there something that I should be made aware of? Because you're not saying anything and it's making me more uncomfortable." And so then he kind of rolls his eyes at me and he says, "Your baby is sleeping." And I thought, are you kidding me? My baby has been sleeping, quote unquote, for the past, since this morning. There's no way. This child usually moves and I usually feel him. And he said, "Well, you have an anterior placenta, so you're not going to feel him." And I corrected him again and I said, "No, I definitely feel when my baby moves, and he's not moving. So why is he not moving? And why are you shaking my belly?" And he said, "I'm shaking your belly to see if your baby is going to respond, and he's not responding right now." So I said, "Okay, well, shouldn't that raise some flags that something's going on?" And he said, "You know what, I'm going to call your doctor and we're going to talk to him and see what he thinks." I thought, okay, that's fine. Call my doctor. My doctor is way more caring. My OB asked me a series of questions, and then he said, "It sounds to me like you're dehydrated. Let's get you on IV." And the nurse responded and she said, "Oh, we put her on IV. I asked the doctor on call, and he agreed that she should be on IV." And he said, "Yes, that's what I want. And I'd also like for you to get her some drinks with electrolytes, juices, and all that, and have her drink that at the same time." So then the nurse went and got me some Pedialyte, which is what they had on hand, and apple juice. And I was drinking that. And then he also told me to avoid water for the next 24 hours. He said, "I need you to just drink electrolyte drinks until we get some movement out of this baby. So if the baby's not moving within the next whatever amount of time, then I'm going to come in and I'm going to check myself. And if the baby does move, you can go home and just keep drinking electrolyte drinks." Luckily, the baby did move, and I felt so relieved, because after about half an hour on IV and drinking electrolyte drinks, I started to feel less thirsty and I started to feel more like myself. I wasn't 100% back to normal, but things were progressing in a positive manner. So then I was sent home because the baby did do 10 kicks within the hour, and I just went straight to the grocery store downstairs and I purchased 2 liters of coconut water. I'm feeling much better now. The baby is moving back to normal, and I am so relieved that everything is okay, alhamdulillah, because in that moment, when I was not feeling him move for that long, the worst went into my mind. And I think other people probably would have experienced something similar if they were in my shoes, where you're not feeling your baby move for that period of time. You might think, what if this, what if that, what am I gonna do? If you've had any pregnancy scares, let me know in the comments below. How did you get through it? Did you have support? And what was your situation like? I was, again, like I said, really scared, and I felt completely isolated in that experience. However, again, on a positive note, I am doing better. Baby's doing well. They're moving beautifully again. and we're back to normal, alhamdulillah, and hopefully to continue a healthy pregnancy from here on out. I have a cozy sweater today. This is my belt from the front at 30 weeks. Hope you guys can see, I know it's black. From the side, this side as well. See? And that's 30 weeks, baby. If you like these types of videos, please be sure that you hit up that like button, subscribe for more content, and until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.